YouTube is secretly streaming movies better than anything Netflix added this month, and almost nobody knows about it. I'm not talking about bootlegs either. These are fully licensed films YouTube lists for free. The weird part is, the YouTube algorithm is hiding these movies from you, and they've got great ones right now. Like two of Daniel Day-Lewis's best, with Gangs of New York and There Will Be Blood, alongside classics like Seven Samurai and No Country for Old Men, but I'm not wasting your time talking about those today. No, I dug deeper and found 10 highly underrated flicks, including a Western starring Matt Damon from the writer of No Country, along with films about dirty cops, dragons, prison, and undead exotic dancers. After the first movie on this list, I'll show you how to find all the films YouTube lists for free, but first up, I've got a recommendation for Shaun of the Dead fans. Even Shaun of the Dead fans who feel like they're completely done with zombie movies. Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse has enough freshness going on to keep it really interesting, even though the movie's over 10 years old now. Okay. It still feels pretty fresh, especially if you've never seen it. And for a zombie movie with Boy Scouts as the main characters, it's surprisingly raunchy. Super bad levels of raunch with Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse. But after Shaun of the Dead, there were a ton of zombie movies that tried to be fun, some of them pretty good. You know, I like Zombieland, but this one stood out to me as one of the best of the bunch. This one and Warm Bodies with Nicholas Hoult, even though that one's kind of like a teen romance thing, that one is surprisingly rewatchable too.
Whew, it smells like pixie sticks and hope in here.
You've never been in a girl's room before, have you?
Yeah,
Mom doesn't count.
Well,
Any female relative doesn't count.
So to find the free movies included with YouTube, there's one of two ways. You can just type in primetime movies. This is going to be where they have all the movies, including the ones you can rent. But if you just scroll down, usually the second or third row says free movies. Just click view all. There you go. You get the full list, and they're typically already ordered based on how popular they are. Means most of the good movies are at the top, but it also means ones they've recently added that have not gotten popular yet are going to be down towards the bottom. And if you're watching on a smart TV, there's a good chance there is a movies and shows tab over on the left side. Click on that. And again, if you just scroll down, you're going to see free somewhere. Free primetime movies or just free movies is going to be the official listings. These are the legal free movies YouTube changes out every month or so. But if you're not in the mood for something that fun and you want something a little bit more edgy and intense, they've also got Hostage, starring Bruce Willis. One I rarely see available on streaming services, but a pretty slick action flick from Bruce Willis. One he did late in his career, one of the better ones he did late in his career. And it's a Die Hard type situation here, except he's on the outside of the building. This actually involves this mansion, this wealthy family gets taken hostage. A pretty young Ben Foster plays one of the bad guys. He's an absolute maniac in this movie. In fact, the way he does the villain makes Hostage way more intense and dark than you might expect, which kind of sets it apart. It makes this movie stand out in this genre as having a harder edge to it. Again, this is not Bruce Willis in his heyday, but this is Sin City era Bruce Willis, and again, one of the better and more underrated flicks he did during that time period. But for another fun one, my number 8 pick is a must-watch for Beatles fans. Like an absolute must-watch if you're a Beatles fan, especially if you've never heard of Yesterday. Now this is a comedy, a somewhat romantic comedy about a struggling musician.
What happened?
Electricity flicked off all over the world.
After a blackout and a freak accident, he's the only person on Earth who remembers the Beatles. He's the only person who knows their music, and he's able to take advantage of that by passing off all their songs as his own. As you can imagine, he becomes like this massive hit, and it's a hilarious movie because obviously you, the audience, you know the Beatles, but it's funny to watch all these people hear these songs for the first time and be blown away that he's coming up with them. That's kind of the gag of the movie. If that sounds appealing to you at all, this is a highly underrated movie from director Danny Boyle. One of the few really wholesome movies he's done. I talk about his movies all the time on the channel. Trainspotting, 28 Days Later, Sunshine, countless excellent movies. This one's easily one of the lightest things he's ever done. But next up, for another not-so-fun one, we've got a highly underrated cop drama that stars Ed Norton and Colin Farrell in Pride and Glory.
They're dead. Our money's missing. There's only one of those things we can get back. Yeah, we all love those guys. It's a shitty way to punch out, so pray they died quick and leave it alone.
Like I said, an excellent cop drama with some family drama stuff mixed in, very much like We Own the Night, a movie that I do think is superior, that came out at almost the same time, but only just by a little bit. In fact, I think We Own the Night kind of overshadowed this one when it came out, and both movies have a lot in common. Both were released in the late 2000s, both are kind of the last of a dying breed, and both are pretty dark and edgy cop flicks. This one, though, involves some dirty cops, a cover-up, and it's all done in kind of the dark alleys. I mean, it is a dark, moody movie that ultimately does go somewhere. It ultimately kind of pops off towards the end. I'm not going to give anything major away here. I mean, it's almost 20 years old at this point, but if you've never seen it and you decide to watch it after seeing this video, it's one of those movies you're going to be very surprised you had not seen or heard of it.
This ends tonight.
And it's not the only Colin Farrell cop drama on this list. They've also got Michael Mann's Miami Vice, a movie that I think is insanely underrated. Now, I will admit, this movie is less than perfect, but my goodness, is it an electric flick. You know, audiences have very high expectations for Michael Mann movies after Heat, and this one does not hit on all cylinders like a movie like Heat, but it comes dangerously close. The movie looks slick as hell, and it's from the creator of the Miami Vice show, so it's got the same spirit in it, with a modern, updated take. In Miami Vice and every Michael Mann movie just has insane cinematography, top-notch shootouts. Like the one in this movie is great, even if it's not as good as the one in Heat. It's still fantastic. Killer soundtrack, and again, that Miami Vice vibe that I think Michael Mann himself was only going to really be able to nail. You know, he was responsible for the 80s television show, him coming back and doing the movie. I just think it's cool as hell. Again, even if the movie's less than perfect. Another movie that scratches a similar itch that I didn't add to the list but makes a great honorable mention right here is Black Rain. This stars Michael Douglas as a cop who goes to like extradite a criminal from Tokyo. So it's got some fish out of water elements, but this is from Ridley Scott, and it's got heavy Blade Runner vibes. He created this not long after Blade Runner and brought a lot of similar aesthetics to it. So this feels like a hybrid between something like Blade Runner and a Michael Mann crime flick. It's excellent stuff. I honestly don't know why I didn't include it on the list. But a 1980s creature feature movie that is just wildly underrated, and it's in no way a cheesy 80s monster movie. It's top-notch stuff. It's titled Dragonslayer.
Are you afraid of dragons?
If it weren't for sorcerers, there wouldn't be any dragons. Once the skies were dotted with them. Magnificent horned backs, leathern wings, soaring in their hot breath wind.
Now, I'm someone who's not particularly into this type of fantasy with the dragons and stuff. I mean, I get it though. I like Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings. I just don't get particularly deep into that genre. I love this movie though, and it's absolutely loaded with wizards and all that sort of stuff. And a bunch of practical effects with a real dragon. Now, this predates Jurassic Park by quite a bit, so they're actually using stop motion animation and a real life-size dragon in a bunch of shots. It looks fantastic. Looks almost as good as Jurassic Park at times. In fact, this is a pretty close approximation as to what Jurassic Park may have looked like if CGI wasn't ready at the time. And not to mention, Dragonslayer's an amazing story. You follow a wizard's apprentice who basically does not have any kind of powers or strength or anything, and he is sent to face off against this dragon. It's a typical David and Goliath type story. Just excellent stuff from the 80s that just does not get remembered the way it should. Now, some of you are going to cry blasphemy with the next one. Before I tell you, I will tell you that the original movie, the original Vacation, is included with YouTube right now, so it could make a great double feature with the remake from 2015. I promise you, if you didn't see this one, you didn't bother, it's way funnier than you could have ever expected. And it's fairly different.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? You're like a legend at Tri-Pie. You're Debbie Do Anything.
Debbie Do Anything?
Go play.
Ed Helms plays Rusty in this movie. He's grown up, he's got his own family, and they have their own unique family dynamic. Christina Applegate is the wife. The two boys, their sons, are hilarious. I think they're funnier than any of the kids were in any of the original Vacation movies. And it has its own tone. You know, Ed Helms is not trying to be Chevy Chase in this movie. That would have never worked. You couldn't have tried to have someone recreate Clark Griswold, but he plays a pretty good Rusty, kind of chasing his father's dream in this movie. But this is from the same director who did the new Dungeons and Dragons movie, which I also thought was very funny. He also directed Game Night, another really funny movie with a lot of kind of over-the-top action in it, just like Vacation. I'll stop going on about this one. It's just one of those situations where I know a lot of people probably passed up on this one because there's no way it could be as good. They made it different enough, and I'm telling you, I thought it was hilarious. I've seen this movie multiple times.
Dad, isn't that cannibalism?
Yeah.
But one of my all-time favorite actors, Kurt Russell, did an amazing road movie back in the 90s titled Breakdown. Now, this one does show up on streaming services pretty often, but it's been a while since I've seen it available. If you've never heard of it, it's an awesome one. He's out in the middle of the desert with his wife. Their car breaks down, even though it's brand new. A truck driver offers to take her to the nearest stop so she can make a phone call, and what do you know? She disappears. And when he finds the truck driver, he acts like he's never heard of him, like he's a crazy person. This turns into an intense thriller with some pretty dynamite action scenes in it, some car chases, obviously. The movie's awesome, not just because I think Kurt Russell's awesome, it genuinely has some real nail-biting moments that are really exciting to go back and revisit. It's just one of those great gems that I think punches well above its weight. If you're in the mood for some throwback action one night, this is a great one to put on, especially late at night. If you watch my videos occasionally and you ever see me wearing a shirt that you're interested in, I sell all of these at DarrenVanDam.com. That's also where you can go sign up for my free email newsletter, Flicks of the Week. I send you 5 email recommendations every single Friday, and that's the only thing I send out. And I don't need a bunch of information from you. I just need your email address in order to get this to you. Just another way to get some additional recommendations from me. But now we're on to a stunning Western movie, All the Pretty Horses. Not a title you might jump to when you're browsing around late at night, but I'm telling you, if you've got any affinity for Westerns, this is a dynamite flick.
Where'd you get a gun like this?
At the getting place.
You ever shot it?
Yeah, I shot it.
Can you hit anything with it?
Anything you want.
Not only does it have this incredible story, like a star-crossed lovers kind of story, but incredible cinematography, just beautiful, beautiful stuff, and a pretty nuanced, detailed, and honestly rather epic story that spans several years, I believe. Matt Damon and some of the other characters end up in prison. I mean, there's a lot that happens over the course of this story, and again, it's all shot beautifully, incredibly well acted, and all based on a breathtaking story, again, from an amazing writer. Just top-notch stuff, which is why it's my number 2 pick. With my number 1 pick being another epic movie loaded with not just good cinematography, but breathtaking views in Papillon. This is set in a prison camp in French Guiana. Steve McQueen and Dustin Hoffman play these prisoners, kind of sent there for a very long time, and it's an incredibly harsh prison environment, and that is most of what Papillon depicts.
We make no pretense at rehabilitation here. We're not priests, we're processors. A meat packer processes live animals into edible ones. We process dangerous men into harmless ones. This we accomplish by breaking you.
People are constantly trying to kill them. They're constantly trying to escape. There are multiple escape sequences in the movie. When they do escape, life in the jungle is worse than life in the prison. And again, all shot beautifully. It's a very long movie, and it's got some years on it, obviously, so it does have a slow pace. It's just not one of those movies you want to watch passively. You want to lock into this one early on, and when you do, my goodness, once this movie grabs you, it won't let you go. Not to mention the fact this is based on a true story. Just an incredible movie that I've only come to like and enjoy more and more as I've gotten older. But here's a recap of the list. Like usual, here's where you can find other streaming services currently hosting these movies if you don't want to watch them with ads here on YouTube. I also always go through the trouble to find the listings in Canada, the UK, and Australia, even though they may not always be accurate. This does take a lot of work, so if you like this list at the end of the video, leave the video a like. It's way more helpful to me than you would think. But regardless, I'm going to keep making these videos as long as y'all keep watching them. Thanks for watching this YouTube list, and you will see me on the next one.